On day one, Ruediger met us at the Frankfurt airport, and we drove to Nordheim where we met his parents, Walter and Gretel Glaser. We saw some family heirlooms in the family room, and then went to the Nordheim Community Center to view a Saturday meeting of the Frauenlander, a women's club in Nordheim. The Nordheim Historical Society played a role in this meeting, and Ruediger participated as a Roman soldier. Afterward, we went to Sebastian's dairy farm with Gudrun and her children. At dusk, we ended up at the Nordheim Cemetery and saw the final resting place of many Glasers. At the end of the first day, we had a delightful dinner at Walter and Gretel's house in company of other Glasers. The food was fabulous, and so was meeting family. On day two, we woke up to a hearty breakfast and walked to church for an English and German service delivered by Pfarrer Klaus Wetzel. From church, we went to the Nordheim Museum and were hosted by Ruediger and Günther Messinger. They presented a video on the Berg Stein and showed us the old books in their collection. After the museum, we had lunch at the edge of the Rhine River. To our surprise, Sebastian picked us all up in an old-fashioned hayride on our way to the Berg Stein. At the Berg Stein, Günther Messinger explained the history of the Berg Stein ruins all the way from the Roman era to the present. What an excellent treat! We returned to Walter and Gretel's house for cake, coffee, and music, and then we went to the Glaser winery in Osthofen for excellent wine, meat, cheese, and bread, and excellent conversation, all thanks to Hermann, Sylvia, and Eva Glaser. On day three, we traveled to Heidelberg Castle to see where Casimir Glaser's patron, Prince Ludwig Karl, lived in 1648. We then turned north to Worms to see St. Peter's Basilica, where Martin Luther met the Holy Roman Emperor. In Worms, we also saw the old Jewish cemetery dating back to the 9th century. The last thing that our guide showed us was the Martin Luther Memorial. As soon as we finished the sightseeing, we went to a supermarket in Worms to buy ingredients for a Mexican dinner we had promised our hosts. We served enchiladas verdes, mole, and rice. The family seemed to enjoy the food that evening. On day 4, we posed with the fiberglass cow, said our goodbyes, and left Nordheim. But before we left, Jasmine also milked the cow for good luck. Our first stop was at Frankenstein's castle, which is now in ruins. Sadly, Igor was not there. After breakfast at the hotel in Lichtenstein, we went to the Lutheran church office to research the handwritten records for a trace of our ancestors. We found records of several ancestors. The principal of these was the birth record of my great-great-grandmother, Wilhelmina Scherf. After some shopping in Liechtenstein, we moved on to the next stop, Munich. Goodbye, Liechtenstein. Once in Munich, we ate downtown at the Augustiner Hofbrauhaus. The beer and sausage were delicious. We started our first full day in Munich at the Deutches Museum, a world-class exhibition of technical stuff. Cousin Uli Glaser and his son Marcus met us here. Our guide showed us all sorts of machines and devices, and we said goodbye at the clock-making section of the museum. We went to lunch with Cousin Uli at the Hofbrauhaus in downtown Munich and enjoyed more delicious beer and food. After the Hofbrauhaus, we went to the hotel and talked about Glaser genealogy. Ruediger, of course, was the right person to talk to us about the Glaser family history. We started day 7 with a dreary day as an appropriate backdrop to the somber tour of the Dachau concentration camp just north of Munich. Here we witnessed the historical account of the suffering of Jews, gypsies, political prisoners, and others. The last day we traveled to Frankfurt. Goodbye, Ruediger. Thanks to everybody.